En 1990, Vanilla Ice era el rey de las tablas del pop. Vendía millones de discos y dominaba la radio. Solo 4 años más tarde, era ridiculizado como un éxito pasajero, y una noche de invierno sus amigos lo encontraron inconsciente en el piso de su baño.
The depression about his career tanking was just killing him. So he ingested a huge amount of cocaine, ecstasy, and alcohol, knowing full well that the amount could have killed him.
I was lost. I had a weekend that lasted a few years, and by saying that is I didn't know where I fit in, so basically I turned to drugs as an escape route.
Fue un giro inesperado para un artista que solo unos años antes había encontrado el estrellato con el mega éxito Ice Ice Baby.
In 3 weeks, it moves 6 million copies.
You couldn't go to a drugstore, a barbershop, or the grocery store without hearing it on the radio.
Pero unos años más tarde, todo se derrumbó. Ice era el hazmerreír de la cultura pop.
I look back at everything and I go, this is not what I wanted. The baggy pants, the hairdos and stuff, it's not what I wanted to be recognized for. It was really the music.
Lo que había comenzado como una pasión genuina, lo había llevado a una vida fuera de control. Vanilla Ice nació como Robert Van Winkle el día de Noche de Brujas de 1968. Criado en Dallas, el niño enfrentó su primera adversidad cuando su padre abandonó a la familia.
I was really young. I never missed him or anything or had any curiosities because it was filled in by Byron.
Byron Mino, un vendedor de autos y cantante de ópera, entró en escena al poco tiempo al casarse con su madre.
My mentor, just the coolest dude, person, father, figure you could ever have. He was really there for me.
Mino apoyó la pasión del joven Rob por el motocross competitivo. Su madre fue una presencia constante y no solo le dio un hogar lleno de amor, sino también de apreciación y talento para la música.
His mother is actually a classically trained pianist.
She plays guitar and she does the flute. Very unique and talented musically.
He was always interested in funk music. I mean, he loved James Brown, for instance. That was a huge idol for him. And so when hip-hop came along, he was like, oh my God, this is my kind of music.
I didn't know that there wasn't other white people doing the same thing. It's what influenced me. And as soon as hip-hop came out, I was really fascinated with it right off the bat because it was basically they took funk and then they rhymed over it.
Pero no fue hasta que Ice vio el clásico de culto Breakin' que comenzó a pensar que tendría un lugar en la cultura que tanto admiraba.
They had the broom and he would pop, lock, and do his whole thing, and I was just like trying to mimic the moves and stuff, and I had a little mirror in my room, so I'd go in my room at night and be like, I can do it, I can do it.
His first real foray into public attention was, of course, as a breakdancer. He would do some freestyle rapping and breakdancing in clubs, mostly African-American clubs.
I used to have a piece of cardboard. I'd make $40 a day and spin on my head with my little breakdancing crew. My friends called me Vanilla, which I hated because I thought it was kind of like, you just call me that because I'm white. But that kind of stuck as a nickname.
Vanilla Ice. Oh, yeah.
Aunque visitaba los clubes por la noche, Ice seguía en la secundaria durante el día. Él y sus amigos ensayaban en la cafetería escolar.
And we would crack on each other, rap on each other. Oh, your mama's got dirty socks, and stuff like that. I would go home thinking, what can I come back for lunchtime tomorrow and come back because my friend, he got me good today. So I'm going to come back on him tomorrow. So I would think of these rhymes.
Mientras que Ice practicaba sus rimas en secreto, el rap y el hip hop se estaban diversificando como artes.
DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince and their brand of pop rap. Hip-hop was picking up on some suburban themes. It was being more directed toward the youth. So all of a sudden on MTV, you had artists like NWA who were more hardcore gangster rap. But you also had a lot of artists who were very pop-oriented, very mall-oriented.
Aunque un adolescente blanco y suburbano difícilmente encajaba en la escena del hip-hop local, Ice lo hacía.
My mom told me white kids don't rap. People tell me, don't do that. And I'm the kind of guy that just believes in himself. But I'm on a path, and I'm going to walk my path never narrow. I'm going to walk it wide, like I own it.
Ice se acercó a difíciles vecindarios afroamericanos buscando la música que pronto se volvería su obsesión.
Breakdancing during the day, at the mall, on a piece of cardboard, and hitting some clubs at night.
Y fue en un club local llamado City Lights, donde la vida de Vanilla Ice dio un giro dramático.
They had a talent contest there one night. I'm sitting there, and my friend dares me to get up on stage, and I'm like, "No, man." He goes, "Man, you can look at all these people up there, bro. You can outdance them, man. You can perform these people." So I was like, "All right, I'll do it for fun, you know." So I was spinning on my head a little bit, and I got up and I grabbed the microphone, a cappella, no beat playing, nothing, and just busted out a rhyme. And they were just like, "Whoa."
Ice no sabía que el público estaba repleto de contactos de la industria musical que buscaban a la próxima estrella. Luego del concierto se le acercó el dueño del club.
Amin Kwan, who owned City Lights and was very involved in the record industry, the moment he saw Vanilla on stage, he was like, "This is gold."
Kwan se convirtió en el representante de Vanilla Ice y lo conectó con una discográfica.
So long story short, I got a small record deal out of Atlanta called Ichiban Records.
Ichiban envió a Ice al estudio con un presupuesto mínimo para grabar sus canciones. Una de las canciones del disco era una pista que Ice había compuesto cuando solo tenía 16 años, Ice Ice Baby.
My DJ Earthquake had a SP1200. It was like a sampling machine that he got at a pawn shop. And I had a bunch of records and stuff, you know, my brother's old records, and that was one of them, Queen, David Bowie, and we just threw that in there. Oh, that sounds good.
El sample fue casi un detalle menor, pero cambiaría la vida de Vanilla Ice para siempre. En 1989, Vanilla Ice solo era un chico blanco de los suburbios que amaba rapear y hacer breakdance. Pero cuando participó de un concurso de talento en un club local, capturó la atención de los ejecutivos discográficos de inmediato e Ichiban Records se quedó con él. Unos meses más tarde se lanzó el primer disco de Ice, Hooked.
I actually looked at a piece of wax with my recordings on it. I think I slept with it.
El disco apenas vendió 38,000 copias, pero le permitió a Ice obtener más trabajo como músico.
I was on the Stop the Violence tour with Ice-T, Stetsasonic, Mix-a-Lot. I was the opening act for the opening act for the opening act for the opener. I didn't care. I was just so thrilled and excited to tell all my friends.
Incluso como un desconocido, Ice sentía que estaba viviendo su sueño. La música era su pasión y no habría vuelta atrás.
It was either stay in high school and listen to these boring teachers and drool on my desk, or basically go around the world on a tour and make millions of dollars. And I think we know which way I chose.
El primer simple era una interpretación de Play That Funky Music White Boy de Wild Cherry. Ice Ice Baby apenas era el lado B.
A DJ in Georgia flipped the record and thought that Ice Ice Baby had something to it.
And then it was just like this phenomenal thing just took off.
En cuanto las radios de Atlanta comenzaron a pasar Ice Ice Baby, las líneas telefónicas estallaron.
Of course, everybody thought I was black because all hip-hop was black at the time, right? I mean, because there was no video on me yet because I didn't have any money to buy or pay for a video.
The song goes to #1 on this station in Georgia, and then a station in Tennessee plays it, and then a station in Dallas plays it, and then record companies started sniffing a hit.
Las compañías discográficas ya estaban buscando cómo capitalizar la popularidad creciente del rap.
There were things happening that record companies were paying close attention to. The Beastie Boys, Tone Loc, and MC Hammer.
Así que cuando Charles Koppelman, un ejecutivo de SBK, supo del nuevo artista, fue todo oídos.
An attorney friend of mine called and said that there was this artist named Vanilla Ice who had a record out that was independently distributed called Ice Ice Baby, and it was doing incredibly well at radio. And they had a deal that they were about to sign with Atlantic Records, but there was a glitch in the deal, and would I be interested? And he played me Ice Ice Baby over the phone. And I instantly thought this was a monster hit record.
Ice rápidamente firmó un contrato con SBK Records por un avance de $250,000.
I was about, I guess, 19. That's when I signed a major record label. It seems like it happened overnight to most people, but there was about 3 years of, going through the trenches of hard work and, no pay and trying to just get out there and get my name out there and do whatever I can do to, get to the next step.
SBK se convenció de que finalmente habían encontrado a quien llevaría el rap al gusto popular.
He was this tall, strong, handsome, charismatic artist.
Hooked fue reempaquetado y relanzado como el disco To The Extreme, y con la fuerza de una discográfica grande detrás, Ice Ice Baby explotó.
Ice Ice Baby is released to radio. 8 weeks later, it's the #1 song in America.
It was the jam. I mean, it was like Move Over MC Hammer. Everyone was singing this song.
Cause I'm a lyrical poet. Find me from a scene just in case you didn't know it. My town. I was celebrating my first gold record. Within a day later, they presented a platinum record to me. 1 week later, double platinum. 2 weeks, triple. It's sold over like 40 million now. It's ridiculous.
He went from just kind of being a normal guy, you know, trying to get some music out there, just dabbling with some stuff, and then next thing you know, it took off. I mean, superstardom overnight.
I had no idea when I was doing it that it was any better than any of my other songs or any different or anything.
De pronto Ice era más rico y famoso de lo que jamás había soñado.
Here in New York City, I've never been here before. They're taking me on helicopter and plane rides around Statue of Liberty. Here, you want a Rolls Royce? Here, let's just do it.
Pero un momento en particular sobresale hasta el día de hoy.
One of the best thrills I ever got was getting my mom a house, taking care of her, and she was like, man, you did it.
Con la canción dominando las radios, estaba claro que el rap finalmente había llegado al centro de los Estados Unidos. Muchos vieron el color blanco de Ice como algo esencial para su éxito.
Here comes a white guy who's doing rap, and it's palatable to, American audiences, and it wasn't as threatening to American households as some of the black rappers were.
This kind of good-looking white kid who's sort of acting like a black kid.
I think the fact that he was white, helped his career at that time tremendously.
Vanilla Ice was not the first white rapper. Before him, you definitely had the Beastie Boys who'd come out and sell millions of records. You had Third Base, who had a lot of credibility in the hip-hop community. But Vanilla Ice was the first rapper in the mainstream to really use whiteness as a gimmick.
He presented a kind of, I don't know if I want to say sanitized, but he domesticated rap to some extent.
Fuera cual fuera la razón, estaba claro que el panorama musical había cambiado para siempre.
My record is the first rap song ever to be played on a pop station. In other words, I put rap music in front of people's ears who've never considered listening to rap music. Those people out in the middle of America.
The times were right for this particular artist at that particular time.
Mientras que Ice salía de gira y actuaba sin descanso, SBK trabajaba detrás de escenas para capitalizar su éxito.
Interestingly, Vanilla Ice was only #1 for 1 week because the record label decided to withdraw the retail single to try to fuel sales of the album.
La estrategia funcionó. To The Extreme se volvió el disco #1 en el país y acabó la racha de 22 semanas de MC Hammer. La cabeza de Ice daba vueltas.
Everything happened so fast. It took on a life of its own. And I figured since I'm signed to a major label and I'm so young, I don't know anything about all this stuff, you know what I mean? I'm like, just kind of let them drive the ship.
Ice pronto se vio rodeado de consejeros y representantes.
I got these people all around me telling me to do this and do that. I have publicists over here, telling me to say these things in interviews. Next day, oh, we need to dress up your whole stage show. We're going to make you more glittery. Okay.
They gave him the big, baggy MC Hammer pants. They shaved his eyebrows, a sort of signature look for him.
Mientras que Vanilla comenzaba a sentirse manipulado, SBK Records solo sentía que multiplicaba el valor de su exitoso artista.
He was what you know him as. We didn't change him. This was who he was. It's the artist's vision. We're not. This isn't American Idol.
La tensión llegó a su punto máximo cuando la discográfica le presentó otro pedido a Ice.
MC Hammer had a slow song. LL Cool J had a slow song. Vanilla's got to have a slow song. I said, I don't want to do it. I'm not going to do it. I went in the office. I said, I don't do slow songs. It's gay. I don't want to do this, man. It's not for me. Here's $1 million. We can do it now. Where do I go?
Whatever I might have wanted him to do, that would be good for my record company, would 100% be good for him. So whatever I would suggest for him to do was only for his good.
These guys are good, believe me. Charles Koppelman is the best. Anytime I said, there's no way he's going to talk me into this one, I'd walk in his office and I'd walk out of there. million bucks, richer. They would do that to me. They would pay me off with things.
I'm sure we had some differences. I don't really remember them. But most often we prevailed. And I think we prevailed primarily because he was smart enough to understand that we actually knew.
Ice Ice Baby era un éxito y no había motivo para cuestionar las estrategias de SBK. Vanilla Ice no tenía idea de que las cosas estaban por cambiar.
I had this huge, extreme high. Beyond anybody they could ever imagine. Sold more records than Michael Jackson, Madonna. I'm way up there. I'm on this high, and it had an equal low. And that equal low, I couldn't handle.